Well, based on that story, Martin, when through that journey that you have, you created, when was the moment that you say, I need to create the Warriors Life Code?
Well, thank you for asking that. So it's a few years into this, and during the time of getting divorced and all this, I put on a lot of weight. And one day I looked in the mirror and I was the heaviest I ever was in my life.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? I have to take responsibility for where I am right now.
The only podcast that it will help you grow personally, professionally, and financially. Welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon, maybe even good evening by the time that you listen to this. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Growth Talk with Glenn, where we delve into transformative journeys and remarkable individuals who have successfully navigated the path from struggle to win. Today, we have a person that I'm honored to have here, Martin Salama, known as the architect of the Warrior Life Code. For over a decade, Martin has been empowering entrepreneurs to shift from worry and lack to abundance and become life warriors. Martin, how are we doing? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to see you. Thank you for having me on your show, Glenn.
Thank you for the opportunity. I know that you're going to be sharing a lot of knowledge, and this is going to be awesome. So, Martin, if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you? What is that you do? And who do you help?
Oh, well, thank you so much. So, as you said, I'm Martin Salama, the architect of the Warriors Life Code. And for me, the word life, I turned into an acronym, which stands for Live Incredibly Full Every Day. And for me, that means having a happy life and a meaningful life. Happy life to me means that you're self-love, self-care, even selfish. And by the way, being selfish sometimes is a good thing. Right?
Yeah.
Right. But also having meaningful life, to me, meaningful is more of selfless. What are you doing for others? What are you doing for the community, the world, or the industry that you're in? Right. So that's how I look at the word at life, live incredibly full every day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I've been doing this for about this part of my coaching career for about 10 years. Before that, I was a divorce recovery coach. And that came as a result of 2008. Remember 2008? Well, I was working on a project with my wife for 5 years to build a multi-million-dollar health club and tennis center in New Jersey.
Wow.
And we finally got all the approvals in the summer of 2008. Yeah. And we go to the bank, and by now we're over $3.5 million into the project. And I go to the bank, we're like, okay, we're ready. You said when we're ready, come back and we'll fund you. I'm like, fantastic, let's go. They go, nope, sorry, we're not lending right now. I'm like, but last year you told me, don't worry, we love the project. They said,
wow.
Well, last year things were a lot different. It was like night and day. The year before, they were giving out loans like it was candy.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like it was candy, like going into Costco and the old ladies giving you the samples on the end of the aisles, right? You know those ladies, Glenn?
Yes, I do know.
Well, that was the bank. They were handing it out like it was samples. Let me go into the bank for some samples.
That's crazy.
But for me, it wasn't that way. It was 2008. They go, we're not lending. Things are slowing down. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, we don't know where this is going. A month later, Bernie Madoff and the subprime loans and the financial world falls apart.
Yeah.
And just like that, we were in a major recession, pretty close to a depression. And unfortunately, I actually went into a depression because I lost everything.
Yeah.
And I was like that for about a year. And then when I finally got out of it, I was like, okay, I got to rebuild myself. I got to reinvent myself. What do I want to do? And after thinking about it a long time, I realized that I didn't love being a businessman, which is what I was my entire life, which now they call entrepreneurs. When I was a kid, we were called businessmen. Now we're called entrepreneurs. And I wanted to do something different. So I decided to become a life coach. And about 2 months before life coach training was going to start, was my 24th wedding anniversary. And my wife gave me an interesting gift.
Wow.
You haven't figured it out yet. She said, I want a divorce.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went into coach training needing to fix myself. At the time, a part of me was thinking if I fix myself, maybe I can fix my marriage. But as I got into it and understood that my fixing myself had to be for me and not for anybody else, not for my wife, not for my kids, not for anybody. And I also learned that through going through coaching and learning it, what values were, what my values were, what her values might be. And I realized we were in a codependent relationship for 25 years.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, it was probably the right thing for her to do, to say, let's get a divorce.
Wow. That's it. Would it be fair to say, Martin, that this when the selfish aspect comes in place, like you needed to become selfish to fix yourself?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because before that, as I started to learn going through coaching, I realized that I was a people pleaser for most of my life. And
Wow.
most people don't even want to recognize that they're people pleasers. They don't realize it. It's like being an alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic. I just have 10 drinks a day, you know. And I
Oh,
don't mean to put down alcoholism. Listen, it's a
no,
disease.
no,
It
no, but
really is.
it's a great example because in order to fix something, you have to confront it.
Right. So for me, most people say I'm not a people pleaser. I just like to make everybody happy.
Yeah. I
It's
was
the
doing that
same thing.
for 30 something years. I was pleasing others so they could be happy. And then almost, okay, I feel good. They're happy with me.
Exactly.
But then
Exactly right.
when I switch and I say, you know what? I need to become a better version of myself. I'm gonna instead of pleasing others, I'm gonna start pleasing me.
Exactly right.
And
Right. So,
and people
yeah,
got upset. A lot of people
of
got,
course they did. No question, because you weren't who they expected you to be.
a lot of people got upset.
Yeah. So for me, I started to understand that along with being a people pleaser, I had some other issues that came into play. I took everything personally,
Mm,
right? I was a control freak. Okay. I needed to have the recognition. You touched on it. I needed to hear that my people pleasing was working. Martin, you're doing such a fantastic job. And when all those things weren't happening, I lost it. I had a very short temper. I would react to everything like a nuclear reactor, and
wow.
I would leave fallout all over the place. Right. So going through coach training at the same time got me to understand the things that I needed to change in me. And when I finished, I said, okay, I get it. I've become much better as a result of going through coach training. And I wish I said it was like that, a snap, and it was just who I became, but it took some time. So I decided to become a divorce recovery coach. And I did that for a few years, and I still have it as part of what I do. But after a few years, I shifted because I was loving my life. I loved myself and I was dating. And I realized that it was the best thing probably to happen to me to get divorced because I realized we were never really happy. And I was always trying to please her to get her to love me as much as I loved her.
Mm.
So it was a good thing. It
I was
really was a good thing.
awakening. It was awakening that moment.
Absolutely. But it didn't happen right away. It was a nudge in the beginning. It
Yeah.
took a while until I finally woke up.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
based on that story, Martin, when through that journey that you have, you created, when was the moment that you say, I need to create the Warriors Life Code?
Well, thank you for asking that. So it's a few years into this, and and during the time of getting divorced and all this, I put on a lot of weight. And one day I looked in the mirror and I was the heaviest I ever was in my life.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? I have to take responsibility for where I am right now. I can't say, oh, I can't eat well. No. I chose to get here. And I need to make a choice to get better, healthier. Not because I was overweight, because I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without breathing heavy.
Wow.
So a friend of mine who I went through coach training was on Facebook one day and he was talking about these videos that were 25 minutes long. I said, oh, I can do that. I don't have to buy a gym membership. I can do it in my house. I can wake up earlier. And I started doing those videos at home. But what happened the first few weeks, Glenn, I couldn't even get through the videos following the modified person. I was doubled over. Oh my God, I can't. But I said, I want this bad enough that I'm going to fight through it.
Yeah.
And within 9 months, I lost 65 pounds.
Wow, man.
Thank you. But what also happened is I started realizing the things that were holding me back were in my head, right? I started eating better. I started reading better. I figured out before I was saying I can't afford to be coached. Now I realized I can't afford not to be coached because my friend who gave me the video said, I'll coach you. Don't worry. I'll help you get through this. And he did it for free because he was that kind of a person.
He cared about you.
He cared. He cared. So a few years into this, now 2 years into this, I'm loving my life. I love where I am. I'm dating again. And I'm very happy to say I've gotten married since. Because I've understood who I am and who the woman I married was, and that she was not that she was nothing like my first wife, is that I understood that what my first wife wasn't necessarily who I wanted to have again. And that's not for me to say I hate my first wife. I have a great relationship with her. But it wasn't the values that we were looking for. And that's why we were so codependent. So I found somebody different. And one day, listen, I'm ADHD. I'm all over the place. You know?
Hey, I'm with you, brother. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. But one day, could you imagine me meditating?
I can't.
I can't do it.
I'm like,
my whole head's all over the place.
I know.
One day I was meditating. I did it for a while. And then I was like, but one day I had this download of information that I was loving my life and I wanted to show other people how to do it too. So after my 10-minute guided meditation, I wrote for 2 hours all these things about how I wanted to show people how to love their life.
Wow.
And I took the word life and turned it into that acronym, live incredibly full every day. Right.
And that's when that happened. By you meditating, you stopped meditating, wrote things down, like literally mentally flushed for 2 hours, and this was created.
Yep. Wow. Now it didn't become the word Warriors Life Code until 2020. Remember 2020?
Yes, I remember 2020.
Yeah, it's a long time ago, thank goodness. Let's hope it gets farther behind us. But when the world shut down, right, everybody had to come home and they're like, don't worry, it's just going to be for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, right.
So I'm fortunate. I work out of my house. My wife works in corporate, so she was working from home. Her kids were taking school from home and all that, right? And every day I'd find a reason to get out of the house. I'd put on the mask. I'd even put on the gloves. I would go shopping. I would do whatever, you know? And then about 2 months into this, the saying was only 2-3 weeks and we're still locked down.
Yep.
I turned to my wife. I said, I live in Brooklyn, New York. I said, let's go to Manhattan. Let's go to New York City. So we drive to New York City. And if you know anything about New York City, driving on the streets of New York can be crazy. Yeah. Well, imagine it's a Sunday afternoon and I'm driving straight down Fifth Avenue and I don't miss a traffic light.
Yeah, it's ghost town.
Ghost town. I'm like, where is everybody?
Scary.
They could put their masks on. They could put their gloves on. They could stay 6 feet apart. And I turned to my wife. I said, what is everybody so worried about? And I realized that the last 10, 12 years before that had prepared me to go through a divorce, to lose all my money, to the whole weight journey for anything. So I got onto Facebook and I said, guys, I get it. I understand why you feel this way. So let me show you how to go from being a worrier to a warrior. And that's where I created the Warriors Life Code. And last year I came out with a book called Warrior to Warrior.
I love that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I love that. That is crazy. I mean, my biggest takeaway from that right now, Martin, is from something that it was so harsh around the world. It was an opportunity for you to create this to help others get out of that I don't know, that struggle, that craziness.
Right. And so what this book is in course is about is going from a mindset of lack and I can't to a mindset of abundance.
Yes.
How can I? And I can. And that's all it is. The world is as you see it, says one of my mentors. Her name is Genevieve Davis, says the world is as you see it. So if you see it as with opportunities, that's what you're going to find. But if you see it with problems, that's what you're going to find.
You're going to get, wow. Talking about that, where you just say the mindset, what are some of the biggest challenges you see entrepreneurs facing today when it comes to shifting the mindset from lack to one of abundance?
Right. So especially in this market, especially I'm a coach. I coach other coaches.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of their biggest issues is that they think they can't do what can be done. What I mean by that is, I can't make it a high ticket offer because because I need 18 million people to work for me. And I have, it's 50 hours a week. And those things are all myths. And they think, nobody's going to want to pay for my high ticket program. Well, if you value yourself as low ticket, then that's what you'll attract.
Mm. Listen, Grant Cardone told me once, to the level that you respect and value yourself, others will respect you and value yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
He told me right away, go ahead, go back to your office and put your prices up.
Right. Exactly.
Put your prices up.
Yeah, 100%. So I about almost a year ago, I started working on putting together a program where it was a high ticket offer for my clients, where I could guarantee them to get to $1 million in sales within 2 years or less. And the word guarantee, people look at me and go, how do you guarantee it?
Yeah.
I said, because I've learned over the last 10 years of being in other people's programs who said they're going to do this and do that. Oh, it's going to be done for you, done with you. What I found is it's really more done to you.
Yeah.
They take your money and they say, here, do this, do that. And whether you know how to do it or not, they're basically saying, okay, you couldn't do it. That's on you. They don't take any responsibility. They leave it all on you. And you know what? I have to take a certain responsibility for maybe not being successful. But I said, I'm going to build a program that has what I call a risk reversal strategy. Right? So what that is saying to my clients, I'm going to get you $10 million, but I'm not asking you for the whole price of my program up front. I'm asking you for 12.5% now to get started. And then you don't pay me again until you start seeing real results, money in the bank. And then you're paying me from your income. At first, you pay me when you hit $50,000. All right. And then you pay me again when you hit $250,000. And then you don't pay me again until you hit $1 million. How invested am I to get you over the finish line?
Big time. 100.
And how invested are you to want to get there?
Yeah. Because at that point, we holding each other accountable. It's like, let's go at this. Because now once you start seeing results, that person going to be like, wow, this thing actually works.
It picks up momentum.
So we can accelerate to the next, right? That's amazing. That's a great strategy.
Thank you so much. And I'm very, I started doing it. I started in the beginning of the year, the first quarter of the year. And I'm very proud. I have 5 people in my group. That's and amazing. They're proceeding nicely because they're following the directions. Now, what I put together is a comprehensive program. Instead of doing one-on-ones all the time, I shifted my own mindset by saying what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one-on-one coaching in a group setting, right? So what does that mean? That means you come to a group and there's other people there listening and it's a supporting place and people care and people are all helping each other. And you get in and you come in and you say, these are the things I'm working on this week that I need help with. Okay, great. Let's go through it, Glenn, see how we can help you. And while the other 4 people in the group right now are listening, they're learning. And they're saying, yes. Oh, I didn't think of that. Yes. Or they're saying, you know what? I was thinking maybe this thing. And they're also contributing.
I love that.
So one-on-one coaching in a group setting.
I love that because most likely the struggle that one person is having at that point, it could be also the same struggle. So you're handling multiple struggles at one time, even though you're being directed to one person, but everybody's learning in the environment. I love that.
Right. And then I also, when they get to the right level, we give them their CRM. It's part of the program. Built in with the pages that they need. Now it just needs to be personalized and we help you with that. But here's my thought. And then we also help them build we do it for them, a 4-hour workshop.
Nice.
Strategic philanthropic workshop. Why is it philanthropic? Because to come to the workshop, you have to pay some money because people don't come to free workshops. Yeah. They sign up and they don't show up because they don't value it.
Yeah, if they don't pay attention.
Right. Because they're not paying, so they don't pay attention.
Correct.
Right? So imagine now if they come and they go, okay, come to my webinar, my workshop,
The workshop.
and make a donation to a charity. All the money is going to go to charity. For example, mine is called Gift of Life. Why did I pick Gift of Life? In 2006, there was a little girl in my community who had leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent out the word, everybody swabbed their cheek to see if you were a match in DNA to help this girl get bone marrow. Unfortunately, nobody matched and she passed away.
Wow.
12 years later, I got a call from the organization Gift of Life who swabbed my cheek saying, you matched a man on the other side of the country who needs stem cells. Would you be willing to donate to stem cells? I'm like, yeah, what do I have to do? Okay, this is what we have to do, blah, blah. 2 years later, I get a letter from this man thanking me for saving his life.
Wow. Man.
And he goes through the whole thing of what he was feeling, and he wanted to wait till he was feeling better. And he ends the letter saying, by the way, we were a 10 out of 10 match. And I'm Scandinavian. I look at him, I go, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not Scandinavian. I'm Middle Eastern. God has his reasons.
Yeah.
So when I decided to do my philanthropic workshop, I said the money is going to go to help pay for the swabs, help pay for the stem cells. I didn't pay anything. They didn't ask me to pay. They went out and raised money for me to donate the stem cells, fly to the other side of the country for this man and all that.
Wow.
So this organization. So now you come to that meeting, to that workshop, you're making a donation, right? And then by the end of it, I'm being philanthropic because I'm going to show you everything that I do. And if at the end of it, you don't want to join what I'm doing, great. Here's the slides. Go do it on your own.
Yeah.
Not going to leave anything off the table. Because here's what I believe. If you really want it, you'll do it. Okay? And if you really want to do it quickly, you'll sign up with me. So why not show you what it's all about?
Yeah.
Because here's what I believe. To get to six figures takes the right systems.
Yeah.
To get beyond six figures, we talked about it, you have to have the right mindset. Because it doesn't matter how much you believe in my program, and it doesn't matter how much you believe in me. If you don't believe in yourself and your ability, everything else goes away. So in my program, you get the nuts and bolts, and then you also get the warrior to warrior training along the way to change your mindset. And then to go beyond seven figures, you have to be scalable, right? You have to be willing to understand you're not supposed to be doing everything. You're supposed to find other people to do things. And there's this great book. Glenn, have you ever heard of the book, Who Not How?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's called Who Not How. It's by this gentleman, Dan Sullivan.
Dan Sullivan.
And he says, you wake up in the morning and you say, how am I going to get this done? And how am I going to get that done? And you start doing things that you really don't know much about, or you know about, but it's not your zone of genius, right? And you're spending 4 or 5 hours doing something. Let's say you're worth $200 an hour. I know you're worth more than that. You're worth maybe $2,000 an hour, right, Glenn?
Yes.
But let's say you're worth 200.
Yes.
Okay. And now you spend 5 hours doing this, something that you're not qualified to do, or you should be doing what you're great at. You wasted $1,000.
Yes.
He says, instead of saying how, say who. Who can I get to do this with me, for me, right? You go out and you find somebody who's great at CRM, great at social media, great at building lead generating, whatever it is. And you pay them $50, $100, and they do it in an hour or two. You've now saved $800 or $900.
Yes.
And here's my belief. And here's another great person, like Grant Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes.
Right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
He says, I want to be the dumbest guy in my business. Right? Because he wants to have everybody else around him who are smarter doing what he shouldn't be doing. And I say, the people that know how work with and for the people that know why.
Mm.
That doesn't diminish the how people, because they have their own whys.
It's
and they're very happy to do what they want to do for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a symbiotic relationship. So we show them how that to get beyond seven figures, you have to have scalability.
I love that. Talking about systems, process, and the steps to take in order to get to the 7 or 6 figures. What are some daily practices or habits that you can recommend someone who wants to start living incredibly full every day?
Oh, so for me, it starts very simply. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, you wake up, take out a nice notebook. Okay, not like some flimsy notebook, a nice one like a moleskin. This is a gift someone gave me. So when I finish my next book, I'll use this one. And you write down 3 things you're grateful for every single day. Thank you that the sun is shining today, or thank you that it's raining, or thank you that the coffee tastes great today. I'm so grateful for that. Right now, your mindset is going into looking for gratitude, looking for positivity. And then for me, I get up and I say, I'm going to live incredibly full every day.
Yes.
Right. And I have this mindset that I'm looking for positivity and opportunities. So now if the people who are listening to this just take that one thing and say, I'm going to write down 3 things and I'm going to come up with a mantra that works for me. If you want to use live incredibly full every day, my pleasure. Go do it. Listen, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Okay. At Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right.
He's one of the people ever.
He's the greatest ever, right? He's the GOAT, right? Even though the New York Giants beat him twice in the Super Bowl. Just saying, man, just saying. Okay, because I'm a Giant fan. He wakes up every day and his mantra is to recite the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Wow.
Every day he says the 4 agreements.
The 4 agreements.
You know the 4 agreements?
I don't.
Oh my goodness. Okay. This is a must-read book. The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I'll read them for you real quickly, but the whole book is important. Be impeccable with your word. All right? Means speak with integrity, be impeccable. Don't take anything personally. When I read that right before I started coach training, that got me to understand that I was always taking everything personally. And it was a secret that my father had been telling me my whole life. Unfortunately, he passed away before that. And I never understood it. I never could, because I was too busy trying to make everybody happy. That's so number 2 is don't take anything personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions.
Ooh.
Yeah. Look at your face.
Ooh.
And number 3, always do your best.
Ooh.
So imagine Tom Brady gets up every day and he says, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. This is his mantra, how he starts the day.
Wow. I love that. I love that. You know, I do have a mantra when I wake up. Like once I wake up and I open my eyes, I always stay right next to my wife and I say, man, let's have a wonderful day, full of blessings, full of greatness, helping others. We're so grateful. We're so blessed. We're going to have an amazing day.
Right. And then she turns to you and says, get the hell out of the bed.
Martin, if you can choose one superpower to help entrepreneurs overcome their fears, what would that be and why?
One superpower. My superpower would be, that's an interesting question. Would be, I don't even know how to answer that question. My superpower to help entrepreneurs overcome would be for them to learn my cycle of A's.
Your cycle of A's.
Cycle of A's. Cycle of A's is something I believe in. It helps people to get through whatever they're going through, like in anxiety, especially our business owners. I'll tell you cycle of A's. 3-letter A's in a cycle, in a circle. Okay. The first A is ask. Ask God. Ask the universe for what you want. It could be as easy as coming up with an idea. That's an ask. Oh, I just got a great idea. I'm going to do it. Next is act. Start doing the work towards getting what you want.
Love that. Because
people think the law of attraction, oh, I ask for what I want and the world comes down. It doesn't work that way.
You got to put the work.
You got to put the work. But here's the last one. Attitude. Have a mindset of I am not attached to the emotional outcome. I'm not emotionally attached to the outcome that happens. Meaning that if things happen that don't go the way you want it to go, don't get down. Don't freak out. It's God's way of saying you need to make an adjustment. You need to make a course adjustment. So my superpower would be that people could learn the cycle of A's, and because it becomes a perpetual motion.
ask, act, and attitude.
There you go.
Right? Ask, act, and attitude. So let me ask you, you say something when things don't go the way you're expecting. A lot of people get discouraged.
Right.
And they quit too early.
That's the emotional attachment. The discouragement is the emotional attachment of saying, oh my God, this isn't working. My life's coming to an end. You're giving your mindset that lack, and the universe hears the lack and says, well, this person just doesn't think they deserve it, so I give it to them.
Wow. So even though it's personal, because it's something that you're personally doing, you cannot be emotionally attached.
It's difficult. It's difficult.
It is difficult.
Yeah. Am I perfect at it? No, nobody's perfect at it. Right? There's no such thing as perfection in people. That just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. Now, that being said, it is difficult. Now, Martin, how do you stay motivated and maintain your own mindset of abundance, especially when it gets difficult?
You know, when those times happen, I go back to remembering who I used to be and how I would react to everything and get down and just say, oh, everything, why does everything happen to me? Right? As when my wife asked me the divorce, that's the first thing that came into my head. I just finished figuring out that I lost all my money a year later and I'm still having to start all over again. And I'm in debt and all this. And why is everything happening to me? And as I went through coaching, I realized I'm saying the wrong thing by saying, why is everything happening to me? So in those moments that I'm down now, I don't say things are happening to me because that's blaming everybody else for what's going on and me not taking responsibility. I say everything happens through me, not for me, because for me is a little bit of selfish.
Yeah.
Oh, God is here to serve me. No. It happens through me because I'm doing the work to happen. So when things are getting me down, I say, okay, do I need to make a course correction? What's happening? Let me make sure that my emotions don't take over my actions, because that was a big thing for me. My emotions were always taking over. And for my clients, when I'm working with them and they're having a down day, I said, let's take a moment. Let's come up with something positive today or this week since the last time we met and celebrate that and move the mindset towards the positive side, towards the opportunity side.
Wow. What do you think, Martin, is your biggest lesson that you have learned through your journey as the architect of the Warrior Life Code?
I'll go back to don't take anything personally. That was my biggest lesson because for me, that was the door opener. It was as if I walked into a fully dark stadium and Miguel Ruiz turned on the lights, boom, in the stadium. And the lights just hit me saying, this has been my problem. And it's up to me to fix it, not anybody else. And to stop taking anything personally and stop being a people pleaser. And like you, the first thing I said was, I'm going to take care of myself first, as long as I'm not hurting anybody. I mean, if I need $1,000, I'm not going to go rob the bank.
You know, that's when everything changed in my life. When I understood that I needed to become a different person, a better version of myself in order to achieve my goals and targets and then earn the money that I desire.
Right.
Martin, if anyone out there right now that is going to be listening to the podcast, they want to get in contact with you, they want to get into a discovery call, they want to learn how they can work with you, how can they find you?
So, Glenn, I like to make things simple, right? Because it's simple, people remember. Yeah. If I say, oh, go to this website and click this, it's too confusing.
Yeah.
So I made it very simple. Go to connectwithmartin.com. That's it. You go there. You could buy my book. I also came up with a card deck recently, which is my book in little snippets.
Yeah.
Right? Where cycle of A's, the other things we talk about are in the cards.
I love that.
Right? You could also book a discovery call with me. If it's just, it could be you just want to see where you have something going on that day. It's free. Or you want to find out more about my guaranteed 7-figure abundant entrepreneur program. We can have a whole strategy session where you are now, what you're looking to do, what are the depths of my program, what do I deliver, and how do I deliver it?
Very well. Very well. Martin, I want to say thank you. We're coming to the end of the podcast. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your knowledge, for your expertise. And Martin, I'm always giving, and I want to over deliver every single time of my life, right? So would it be okay if we close with a quote?
Absolutely. This is your podcast. You can give to your audience all you want, and I'll be the beneficiary as well.
So from page 9 to 85, Martin, you pick a number.
9 to 85. 37.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, you seem you know that one.
It's one of my favorite ones. And it's crazy because it goes along with everything that we're talking today. Persistence is the single most common trait of the most successful. So no matter how many times you feel like you're failing and things are not working out, you need to be persistent.
Agreed. I say discipline is the bridge to success.
There you go. That's it. Martin, again, thank you for your time, knowledge, expertise. Wishing you the best of success, health, wealth, and I'll see you in the next one, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget, keep working in becoming the best version of yourself every single day. Have a wonderful day.